Yeah, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over my matches that got me 3rd place in a Clash Royale League tournament. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, this will be in the duel format, so if I use a card game 1, I can't use it in game 2, and I'm just going to be telling you guys my thought process, how I was feeling it, and that kind of stuff. And in this match here, I was against Ian, and as you can see, I kind of destroyed Ian right off the start because Ian did a really bad Goblin Machine, and I just went Prince at the bridge opposite lane. Very smart, very quick, and I actually instantly ended up taking his tower, and I was very happy about it, because going against Ian is never easy. It's always kind of stressful since me and him are good friends, and I don't exactly want to beat him, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, and I actually ran this deck. I'm gonna tell you guys, I played with this deck because I thought that we would end up facing a mirror matchup since this deck is very strong in the current meta, but he ended up playing this minor Goblin Machine deck, and I ended up getting a pretty good matchup, and I ended up kind of beating him really quickly in single elixir. So I'm going to get to the next game, but I just wanted to explain how this kind of works. Alright guys, in the second match here against Ian, we were mainly just covering Giant and maybe like another P.E.K.K.A deck of his, and other bridge spam decks like that, because we thought it would be pretty good to go for a bridge spam deck, because we just used Evo Tesla, Ice Spirit Log, so bridge spam seemed like a pretty good option. And by the way guys, this is a community tournament, and after the tournament, I am still actually first place in community points, not by as much, but I now have 205 community points, and my friend Lucas X Gamer is now second, but I'm going to continue trying to be consistent in these tournaments, and guys, I will win the next tournament. I haven't won a tournament in a while. I've been doing very good, very solid and consistent results, but I want to win, to be honest. A lot of you guys were asking me if I think I would win, and I thought I could win this, and I thought that maybe I would, but, you know, you can't always win, and a top 3 performance is definitely not bad, especially after coming off a number 4 performance in CRL and a Cal Cup win. So I just really want to win one of these tournaments, and I think the next community event will be actually pretty soon, so I'll make sure to make more videos on that. And guys, please let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see, because I feel like this meta is kind of stale with very similar decks. Everyone kind of running the exact same things just because of, like, how broken the Goblin Machine, Demolisher, and Curse are. The decks are not very, like, enjoyable to watch, or honestly even very enjoyable to play, and they're very similar, like maybe like 3 cards different every time or something like that. And going into this match, I actually knew exactly how to win from the P.E.K.K.A side, because I faced Muhammad Light earlier in this tournament, like not this exact tournament, but in the same kind of tournament, and I got completely wrecked with Logbait. Even though I started the match up an entire tower, I still lost completely. I got 3 crowned 1 push. It was actually in my last video for this competition, I think, and because of that match, I knew exactly how to win that, and that's why practicing is so important, because going into this, I knew exactly how to win, and if I played properly, I would win. So I just built up a really big P.E.K.K.A push here, and I didn't really go in with the P.E.K.K.A until double elixir. That's number 1. Number 2, I waited to have Evo Battle Ram, because in this deck he has arrows, not log, no Ice Spirit. He cannot stop Evo Battle Ram. I just voided on the Princess. I had Evo Zap ready. I just went for the Evo Zap, but the Battle Ram went through the Goblins, went through the Prince, and I just took his entire tower in that one push like I was talking about, and I got a very nice tower. There was only 25 seconds left. All I needed to do was defend, so I just cycled my LP. And here, my goal was not to actually defend. It was to stall out the time, because defending could actually be very difficult with this counter push, because he has Recruits, Phoenix, and a lot of Elixir with Evo Barrel. So what I do here is I just Goblins here, pull everything back, have the Dagger Duchesses defend the barrel on its own, P.E.K.K.A again just to keep distracting, and the P.E.K.K.A literally died in like 3 seconds, but all I needed to do was distract. I recognized that, and I got a very nice 2-0 on Ian. Alright guys, here against Vitor was actually my first match of the day, and in this match, I was actually very confident. I don't know what got into me today, but I was really confident today, and I was feeling really good. I saw that Vitor went for the drill, so obviously I bombered on defense, and then I just went for a Giant at the bridge with the Goblin Machine. The reason I did this was just because I knew with drill, if I get a bomber like that counter pushing, I basically played the bomber for free, and I was also still up 1 elixir because I went for the skeletons, so I went for the Giant Rage Curse, and I ended up taking nearly half of his tower. Pretty fun meta that we're in, right guys? Just going all in at the bridge like that was the perfect play, but very great start from me, and I was also next bomber Evo, so I was really happy about my next bomber being Evo. Cycling through Evos with Giant early on is so broken. The quicker you get your Evos, the harder it is to stop, because the quicker you get your Evos, the more you're going to be playing them and that kind of thing, especially in single elixir. In single elixir, Evos are so deadly. I was about to Giant the back, but I saw he went for the drill and the demolisher. I feel like that was more of a tilt play, because I think that play was quite bad, honestly. And I feel like he only did it because he was frustrated that he took all that damage on the left early on. But I get a really nice Prince charge right there. I couldn't believe that Prince got charged. Prince is so broken now, guys, and that Tesla was quite questionable too, I felt like. So I just went for a Giant at the bridge, knowing I had Evo Bomber, and I did this because I knew he would Monk, but I just Evo Bombered on top of the Monk, then raged it instantly, knowing that he would guards as soon as he can. But just because he can guards doesn't matter. Like, I get 1 giant hit, 2 giant hits, and then I think I get a third, right? Yeah, I got 3 giant hits for that, an Evo Bomber hit. I got a ton of damage. His tower's on 700 after that. Quick little 2,000 damage for that. Here, I knew I would be fine because of the Evo Skellies. I knew if he went in with Drill, I could just go for my Evo Skellies. I also cursed, though, because I didn't know how good my Evo Skellies would do since the guards were there, and I defended quite well. Was up a significant amount of damage. And then I also forced out the Evo Wizard, so this was like perfect. I feel like nothing could have went better so far this game. Getting out that Evo Wizard meant that I would be able to actually go in again very quickly, because Evo Wizard is the only problem I have in this deck. I guess guards are kind of annoying, but mainly Evo Wizard. I can't get to the Evo Wizard, so I just went for the Rage here, took out the Wizard, and then I went for the Phoenix for the Drill, and was a very nice defense. And I actually didn't take out the Wizard. I thought I did, but he did that good NATO, but since that Prince actually killed the Wizard, I do not know how. I went for the Giant, the bridge. I went for the Prince. I knew he could guards, but guards actually weren't the right play here. Even though it looks like it, guards were wrong, because I just went for the Goblin Curse, which not only turned his guards into goblins when he doesn't have a log in his deck, he only has NATO, and I knew that because I actually made this deck. Well, I didn't make this deck. My coach who helped me for the competition made this deck. Very good deck, and he had a NATO on my Prince, which basically secured the win. So I just went for the Phoenix, knowing he has to Evo Tesla as soon as he can. And then I went Evo Bomber the bridge, knowing all he had was guards or Monk. Then I went for the Goblin Curse, and then I went for the Rage, and that was good game. He couldn't stop my push. I just built up a massive attack, and that was good game. And I started up 1-0. Alright, guys. In the second match here against Vitor, we went for this P.E.K.K.A. Guards Demolisher deck. We ran this because we thought we could get a P.E.K.K.A. mirror matchup, and a P.E.K.K.A. mirror matchup with guards would be very nice. But then we also had these Wizard Demolisher to also cover like a Cycle deck. We knew that we would have a good chance against Cycle, and here I did an amazing Bandit, actually barely tanking for the Demolisher, which he thought wouldn't be tanked for, and it would just die to the Dagger Duchess. But as you guys saw, I went for that slick little Bandit to dash on the mortar and barely get in front of the Demolisher, and then I thought he overcommitted with that, so I went for the Ram Rider. I knew he'd probably have LP, so I just went for the Zap, but I actually clipped the Ice Spirit. Beautiful Zap right there, getting me a Ram Rider hit as well. I felt like I was on point today. This was my second match of the day, obviously, since the last one was my first, and I just felt on point today. Everything was going in my favor last game, and then this game already started up amazingly. And right here, I just went for the Demolisher in the back, trying to bait out the Mortar, I'm not going to lie. Demolisher is a great mortar counter, so I thought he'd go opposite lane with the mortar, and I could just cycle to my Evo Wizard for free, but it was well played by him. Here, I went for a questionable P.E.K.K.A. I went for the P.E.K.K.A. because I thought it would just kill the machine, and I thought he wouldn't be able to Goblins, but he actually barely got the Goblins down before I could afford my Wizard, unfortunately, so I kind of miscounted my own Elixir. Not even his. I miscounted my own Elixir, but I got a really nice Goblin Demolisher dash, but right now I was down like 5-6 Elixir, so I had to let that mortar charge. Right here, you see me like thinking like, should I mortar? I mean, should I bandit the mortar? Should I void the mortar? And I decided to void the mortar, but I did it late because I didn't want him to predict me, so I just went for the void at the last possible second. Basically equalized the damages, and I'm still down 4 Elixir, but it's not as bad as it was, and we're also nearing double Elixir, so I knew that I'd be able to regroup and be fine. Here, I did have to defend a pretty annoying push, and I was honestly kind of worried, but after he did those Goblins, I knew I was back in the game. He did a very bad Goblins because I just got a massive Evo Zap, and I defended quite well. I knew all I needed, again, was one good push because he didn't have anything for my Evo Wizard. He didn't have anything to take out my Demolisher, really. Demolisher is very good. And then he did this really aggressive play that I don't agree with. He only got 1 minor hit for all of that. He spent 6 Elixir. I spent, obviously, 10, but I have the P.E.K.K.A. down, so it was all right for me. I went for the Ram Rider, but he did do a good defensive mortar. And right here, I forgot about a bug in the game. If you void the side of a building or the side of a tower, it just doesn't hit. and everyone was like laughing at me saying I missed my Void, but I didn't miss my Void, as you can clearly see in the video. But Void is just glitched right now, and I was so frustrated. I'm like, dude, if I remembered about that, I would have put it in the center, hit the mortar, but now I just voided the floor, wasted 3 elixir, and didn't kill the mortar. And I would have definitely broke through there or been up a lot of elixir, but it wasn't the end of the world. I went for a second Ram Rider here, and I knew this push would be hard for him to defend. But then the Ram Rider actually got pushed because of the Goblin, so I felt like me getting screwed over by the bug honestly got reverted by that Ram Rider going to the tower, and I got a ton of damage. Right here, actually, Ian was on call with me. He was telling me I should just try to defend and spell cycle. I agreed with him, but I also felt at the same time all I needed was one slip up and I could easily lose the game. So I felt like I should keep up the pressure, because if I keep up the pressure, who's going to be the one on defense? Who's going to be the one to mess up? If you're defending, it's much easier to make a mistake while defending than attacking. Attacking, you're just going at the bridge. And here I used the Void Bug in my favor. I just instantly took out the LP, and he wasted his Goblins because of the Void Bug, thinking it would hit the mortar. So right there, I actually used the bug in my favor. And I knew I just needed to cycle Evo Wiz the back, because every time I go Evo Wizard the back, it kind of resets the game because he has no way to kill it, so it will clean up everything. Then I also went for the P.E.K.K.A. I wanted to block the bridge, but also like instantly DPS everything down. And then I just voided here on top of the LP. I didn't want to Evo Zap, of course, and I took out everything. I went for the Ram Rider. I knew that he had no mortar, so I went for the Demolisher. He gets back to the mortar right now, but I knew that it just didn't matter. He was still on defense. I went for the Bandit, which actually clips the Ice Spirit. I Evo Zap on the LP, and I actually do get the Demolisher blow up for the win. And that was a very, very nice 2-0 sweep as well. Alright guys, in my second duel of the day, I was against Adriel. I opened with the same Minor Poison Goblin Demolisher Prince deck. I just really didn't know what could counter me with this, other than like Lava, but nobody's really using Lava Hound in this meta. I think Lava Hound kind of sucks in the competitive meta. Not on ladder, but in competitive, Lava Hound's not really used right now just because of all the cheesy broken cards. It's kind of hard to get away with the Lava in the back. I did go for the Log here to make sure to reset the Prince charge to just get more damage on the Prince, but he ends up going for a Giant to tank, which I thought was interesting, so I just went for my Demolisher and Guards here, and he made a huge mistake. I Ice Spirited, and he went for the Curse plus Zap to kill my Guards. It doesn't even kill one of them, by the way. Curse Zap does not kill Guards. That's why Guards are so good right now. Then I just went for the Prince behind this, knowing that he literally had nothing for this, and literally just towered down just like that. Guys, 3 games in a row today. I won the game in the first 45 seconds, and this was one of them. I literally just took the entire tower instantly because he did a bad Curse plus Zap. Just a huge spree of mistakes by him, and then all I had to do here was go for the Log plus Minor on defense, and that was good game, so I'll just show you guys the next match. Alright guys, in the second match here, we went for this Mega Knight Goblin Machine Firecracker Evo Void deck. We went for this deck expecting Goblin Drill, and I actually faced Goblin Drill. I was so happy once I saw the Goblin Drill because that's exactly what we were expecting to face. And I actually, okay, the one thing I was skeptical about though was my Firecracker. Evo Firecracker is not very good as your ranged card because obviously like they can activate King Tower, but I actually had a really good start once again. I get a nice Ram Rider connection, and he just can't defend because of the Firecracker being so annoying. So I guess the Firecracker kind of lucked out, and it made me kind of have the greatest start ever. I went for the Ghost at the bridge here, knowing that it would one-shot the Monk. I just zapped anyway just to cycle, but I also, at the time, I wasn't sure if it was going to one-shot it, and I didn't want to risk it, so I just zapped. I ended up forcing up the Tesla, having a beautiful start, and right here, I was saying, should I go Mega Knight or Machine? And I decided on Machine, and the reason I went for Machine, I even explained it in my voice call. I went for the Machine, though, because I knew that I could just go Ram Rider behind it. He had no Tesla, but if I went for the Mega Knight, he could maybe go Guards plus Drill opposite lane. But if I just go Machine, he just can't do anything because he only has Wizard to cycle. So I just went for the Ram Rider far back to charge, Firecracker, then Curse. I knew he would have to Monk, and this was just game over. The Wizard just dies to the Goblin Curse and the Goblin Machine, and that's just tower down right there. And I get another win in the first minute versus Adriel. Very, very nice win. That does secure me the 2-0 on Adriel, and I guess that's really it because obviously he wasn't able to win from here. I'm up a whole tower with the deck I was going for, trying to face, and I'll just show you guys my final duel. And guys, as you see once again, I clearly love this deck. I used this deck again versus Firkin. Against Firkin, though, our thought process was just that they would try to go for P.E.K.K.A. or Giant, and this deck would counter it. I want to say this is the first time I used it the tournament. and then I just kind of like really liked it. But this deck is amazing, guys. I might actually try to use it in a ladder video or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but I just cycled the Demolisher in the back, just trying to see what he had. And then I just went for the Prince here, opposite lane. I also went for the Miner here because if the bats took off the Goblin Demolisher's HP enough, it would just start running to the tower. And he messed up his Prince, got a really good Prince on the left there, taking out his entire LP. And then I knew I could just guards here, and I knew he'd have a lot of trouble, actually. Like, he could just guards, but I felt like he'd have a lot of trouble actually trying to break through. He had bats. The only difference so far that I knew is he had LP and bats, but Demolisher is better than LP. And in my opinion, bats are better than Ice Spirit, but Ice Spirit is still nice, and I just went for the Prince here. The reason I went for Prince is because he had no guards. He did have Prince, but the thing is, he had no guards. He went for the log, he went for the bats, and my Prince does get a nice charge. My Goblin Demolisher is throwing the bombs, and I get a nice connection right there, getting a quick little 1600 damage to start off the match. Every time I played this deck, and I'm not kidding, you guys saw, I had a beautiful start. 2 of the games I took the whole tower, and in this game I took him down to 1100. This deck is just so good at punishing mistakes, and in competitive play, everybody's nervous. Even the best players in the world get nervous in competitive modes, so I feel like decks like these where if you make a tiny mistake, you just get completely destroyed, it's very good to use because even if you don't have the greatest matchup, you can still win because these decks, if you make a mistake, you'll get destroyed, and they're very easy like to make people do mistakes with. I went for the Goblin Demolisher the back here, kind of just resetting, knowing he had no Mortar. The Demolisher is so good against Mortar as well. That's why I was confident in this game. He does go for the Evo Bats. Evo Bats were the only thing I was scared about, but I cycled back to a Poison, and Firkin gave me the biggest Poison value of 2024, so I got a pretty easy defense here, and he still had to defend the Demolisher. I was just playing passive here. Normally I would have minored there, but with this big damage advantage, there was no point to go too aggressive, get too crazy, and maybe throw away the game. It's just better to play safe, play cool, play collected, and play calm, and I would just get a very easy win just from being up this much in a mirror matchup. But now I knew it was time to start going in, though, because he kind of overspent with the log, with the poison. So I just went for the Miner here. Then I had a nice Goblin Demolisher for the Mortar. That's why I didn't Evo Tesla, because I knew he could try to block it. And he blocked it with the guards, meaning my Prince would kind of destroy his Prince. And there goes the Evo Mortar. That's why the Goblin Demolisher is so good against Evo Mortar, or just Mortar in general, obviously. And then I got a beautiful Ice Spirit for a perfect defense. Normally, I would Prince there, but I just didn't want to risk it, so I just went for the Miner. I didn't poison immediately, just in case. I still didn't poison. You guys can kind of see how safe I'm playing. Like, imagine not poisoning that. That's kind of ridiculous. But I just went for the Evo Tesla. I went for the guards, and I knew this was game over right here. I just needed log plus poison for the game to be sealed, but I didn't, like, right there, I literally logged even, and I feel like that was a bit of the nerves, honestly, because normally I wouldn't log there, because even if it does charge, who cares, right? But you just never want to take any risks in competitive unless you need to make that risk, and that's your only chance of winning, and didn't catch the Miner, and I start up 1-0 in the best of 3. Alright, guys, in the next match here against Firkin, game number 2, we went for this really off-meta deck. We were once again trying to snipe P.E.K.K.A. and Giant, also being a little bit safe against some other decks, but mainly we were worried about P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider, or P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram, of course, but mainly Ram Rider since that's the main version. It's very hard to snipe P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider when you don't have Evo Tesla, especially so. We just had that in our heads that, like, he would probably go for the P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider, but then I saw the Evo Wizard, I'm like, oh, at least I have Monk, though, because Monk will be very good against Evo Wizard. Having Monk for the Evo Wizard would be nice. Evo Wizard will get a lot of value in this game, but everything else from him is kind of hard to kill, like Barbarians, Zappies. We kind of went for these just because of the cards that he used in the previous game and that the spells he would probably use. And he had the Goblin Curse, and I knew he wouldn't have Poison, so that means he either has Fireball or EQ, but he would never use Fireball in a deck like this against a player like me. Way too risky, since I always play with Cycle decks. You need Earthquake, so I knew Zappies would be unkillable. Barbs would be very annoying, and should be an alright matchup as long as I play well. And here I just get a good Tornado to activate my King Tower. Always good to activate your King Tower versus the Hog Rider. And honestly, I think this was a good matchup for me. I just didn't really know how to play it at first. And also, I felt like my cycle was kind of unaligned because I didn't really have Monk in the beginning of the game for Wizard. So I feel like it offset my cycle. So I never really had Monk for his Wizard. Like, this is the second Wizard where I didn't have Monk for, which is very bad. I always want to have my Wizard for the Monk. I mean, my monk for the wizard, sorry. I don't know how I do that. I feel like I do that so often where I say the exact backwards thing of what I meant to say. And I'm not even the one with wizard either. I don't know how I managed that one, guys. He went for the goblins to back, and I knew he was probably going to go for the hog rider here because otherwise there's no point to goblins, but he actually didn't. He kind of faked me out. So I went for monk to back. I do feel like, looking back, though, I didn't have any good card to cycle into the machine other than monk, which is probably why my cycle was so bad the whole game. I went for the Evo barbs, but I should have went NATO, because, yeah, as you see there, he gets a really good Evo wizard, and, I mean, not Evo wizard, a really good wizard cycling to his Evo wizard, and just killing my barbs, so I should have put that in the ops lane, but I do get a good monk ability off right here, tanking for everything, and I get a nice Evo bomber at the bridge here, too, just because I knew he had the goblins, and then go for the machine to keep blocking everything, and I get 2 bounces. I get 4 bounces, and that was a very, very good push right there. And he still hasn't even touched my towers yet, actually. So I went for the Phoenix. I did have barbs. I wanted to barbs, but then I felt like, I'm like, wait, I'm going to NATO. But then that stupid machine, bro, that machine went stupid. Like, it never died when I thought it was going to die like 3 times. And he nearly takes the damage lead because of that, actually. And I was mad, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I was mad about that because it was so awkward for me. I should have just went barbs earlier, but in my defense, I thought that the machine would, like, just not, like, straight beeline for the tower. But I knew I could win anyways, so I wasn't too worried. In an equal position like this, where both of his spells don't really do too much damage, and like he had, like, a poison or a rocket that does quite a lot of damage, so I went for the bomber right here, and then I went for the Evo barbs at the bridge, just to take out that wizard, the machine, and I just knew that I needed to get my cycle back in line. I did go for the Drill Phoenix here, though. I didn't want to do anything in the back and ruin my cycle even more. I also went for the Evo Bomber, knowing how low he was on Elixir. I do get 2 nice Goblin shots right there. I felt like I should have gotten 3, but it was alright. That Evo Bomber is cooking once again, and I get a nice double bounce on the tower for, like, 500 damage. I went for the monk here, knowing he'd probably machine at the bridge. I felt like that monk stopped the machine at the bridge, and then I did a really good barbs right here, knowing that the wizard wouldn't actually hit them. Obviously, like, up until the monk ability's over, but by that time, the hog was already defended, and I was looking good. So I went for the Phoenix plus drill here. He actually did a bad wizard. I bombered, and after this, I knew it was going to be defense until I get a monk past the bridge, because going for these will only, like, maybe help me choke, because he's going to have a wizard, a machine, and a hog push, and that's never easy to defend. He was doing these kind of interesting hogs, so I went for my zappies. I went for the monk. Not really the greatest monk, though. I didn't think he would goblins to bridge into all of this, but maybe it was a prediction, to be honest. But I popped the ability. I went for the drill because I knew he would wizard on my bomber, and then I was also able to just kind of control the tempo of the game from here. That wizard going opposite lane kind of sealed the deal. Went for zappies on defense, and then here I knew I would get a monk past the bridge because he had no goblins in cycle. I just waited for a quick block. He messed up the block. I went for the ability. I went for Evo Bomber. I went for the drill, and that was a good game, securing me a nice 2-0 win versus Firkin. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.